regular City Council meeting of June 9th, 2025. Members of the public are invited to attend in-person meetings in council chambers. Welcome to all of you. Public access is also available by telephone by using the call-in numbers posted on the meeting agenda, and tonight's meeting will be broadcast on the city's YouTube channel online. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Leidy.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lukman Hiramasa. Here. Councilmember Burns. Councilmember Jaramillo will be absent. Councilmember Kondo.
Here.
Councilmember Roper.
Here.
Councilmember Goff.
Here.
Councilmember Nowicki.
Here.
And Councilmember Walker will be late.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City Manager Guy, are there any responses to resident inquiry?
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And there is an addition to tonight's agenda. If council wants to look, there is a resolution, D, the fourth one. If you want to take a look at that, that's also in your packet. You can read through that, and we will discuss it as we get there. It did. All right, public invited to be heard. This is an opportunity for public comment on any item not set for public hearing. Statements are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Statements must be related to city business and limited to matters of community interest. City Clerk Small, did anyone sign up to speak to council tonight?
Yes, Madam Mayor, there are 2 individuals on the list. The first person is Chris Klein.
Welcome. Please state your name and address and provide your comments to council.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chris Klein. I'm a North Glen resident, 248 Emory Road, and I also am a volunteer with Animal Rescue the Rockies. I help citizens TNR, which is Trap, Neuter, Return community cats here in the north suburbs. And I'm sorry for my persistence on this. I really know that I've been communicating with you a lot on this, and thank you for the responses I've received. I know Mayor and then also my own ward members, Dr. Goff and Councilmember Kondo have gotten back to me, and then also Councilmember Jaramillo. I appreciate that. The community cat ordinance was passed by North Glen back in September 12th of 2022, which allows citizens to perform the TNR process for unowned community cats. The TNR concept is supported by many reputable organizations locally and nationally. The community cat ordinance protects people who provide ongoing care for community cats, like food, shelter, medical care, things like that. They're otherwise known as community cat caregivers, which are in our definitions of our ordinance that we passed. Caregivers provide many benefits. The cats live in a much healthier state when they're being cared for on an ongoing basis. Nuisance behaviors are greatly diminished across the community when they are being contained to a particular area. Harm to wildlife and bird populations are greatly diminished when they have a regular food source. TNR is easier to perform when the cats are contained to a particular area. As I have explained to you in previous communication with you guys, texts and emails and public comments, I received the email from Animal Control informing me that community cats that spend the majority of time on your property would now be considered pets under the pet limit ordinance. They consider the definition of keep or a keeper in the pet limit ordinance would take precedence over the definitions evidently in the community cat ordinance that we passed. This is just wrong. It would provide absolutely no benefit to anybody. I asked the staff to please reconsider this, and also the council to please consider to not allow this to happen. Community cats are always going to spend the majority of time on the property where they're being cared for, which is a great thing for the reasons mentioned. Requiring someone to neglect community cats is not only cruel, more community cats would remain unfixed, unvaccinated, resulting in greater damage to our wildlife, increased nuisance behaviors in our community. We need to educate citizens on spay-neuter, owned cats, and community cats, feral cats. If we come across someone feeding cats, we need to ensure that they get spayed-neutered. Telling someone to stop feeding the cats, or else they would be included as a pet, or get fined, just does nothing. I think there is still confusion on the topic because the staff's reasoning of doing this are the exact same reasons why we perform TNR and why I'm pushing so hard for this. Caregivers do not introduce new cats to the neighborhood. They perform TNR and provide ongoing care, do everything we can to stop the breeding cycle of these community cats. They're all over the metro area. We're trying to minimize that. There's hundreds of thousands in the metro area. And the other people like myself do this. I'm not worried about myself, as I could simply just register these community cats under the before the August 1st deadline. I worry about other citizens who perform TNR and take care of community cats and just the concept itself, because it's huge. It's a great thing. How can you expect someone also to spend the time doing the responsible thing of TNRing cats, trapping them, taking them in to get spay-neutered, paying for it themselves, and then bringing them back and then expect to have animal control tell them they need to neglect those cats now? It's just not right, unless you have less than 4 cats or pets, dogs, cats, total in your house. It is inhumane, it is cruel. The majority of people would not spend time doing this, TNRing cats, in the first place if animal control ended up requiring them to neglect those cats. Community cats that live 100% of the time outdoors, not tame enough to be adopted, they're not pets. So please make sure the pet limit ordinance is for owned pets and not community cats. I appreciate your consideration on this. Thank you.
The next individual on the list is Tom Lampo.
Welcome. Please state your name and address and provide your comments to council.
Hello, North Glen. Hello, City Council. Tom Lampo, 3951 Jackson Way. As always, it's good to be here. I'm here to lift up North Glen to the Lord in prayer, so please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, you're the God of North Glen, and we humbly come before you and ask that you make North Glen a beacon of your light. You are holy, the Lord God Almighty. No one is before you, and you answer to no one. No one is greater than you. Grace and mercy is the foundation of your love for us. Without these, we would perish and have no hope. You are truth. You possess all the truth, and you will reveal it all. In Proverbs 19:21, you state, "Many plans are in man's heart, but the Lord's decree will prevail." You stop the wicked plans of our enemy before their full intentions are carried out. You are the Lord of lords and King of kings. Time is moving fast. The landscape in which we live in is constantly changing. It can be exhausting just trying to keep up with the events that surround us, and somehow we need to maintain our own lives. In Isaiah 40:29-31, we receive more of your wisdom when it states, "He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might he increases strength. Even youth shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Help us to seek you in everything we do. Give us the strength and endurance to actively pursue you and not to forget to include you in all our plans, even the most mundane routines in our lives. You know us all, and you know us better than we know ourselves. Your love for us is immense. Father, we are blessed to have many individuals who take care of North Glen each day. Their daily work enhances our life experience and makes life more enjoyable for us. So we lift up to you all those that daily work in North Glen. They are perfectly living out 1 Peter 4:10 when it states, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms." So as these workers bless us, we ask you to bless them and their families. Watch over them and keep them from the wicked deeds of our enemy. Thank you for these faithful stewards. You are our God and we are your people. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys. Have a nice night.
Is there anyone in the audience who did not have a chance to sign up that would like to speak to council tonight? No? Okay. We have a couple of proclamations and some celebrations, so I invite council to join me down front. Good evening. Okay, so I would like two members of our Diversity, Inclusivity, and Social Equity Board, Chris Semino, and that's our board chair, and Vice Chair Ryan Easterling Babin, to come on up to accept our Pride Month proclamation. Welcome. Hello. Whereas Pride Month is a time to recognize and celebrate LGBTQ+ culture and history, promote education and awareness, and encourage dialogue and understanding among all people. And whereas Pride Month is observed each June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, a pivotal moment in the LGBTQ+ rights movement in the United States, and a catalyst for the ongoing pursuit of equality, justice, and visibility. And whereas the City of North Glen is committed to fostering a welcoming, inclusive, and affirming environment for residents, employees, and visitors of all sexual orientations, gender identities, and gender expressions. And whereas the 2025 theme, The Fabric of Freedom, calls upon us all to reflect on unity while recognizing and celebrating the strength, resilience, and vibrancy of the LGBTQ+ community. And whereas we respect and appreciate the richness and variety of our community's cultures, values, traditions, and uniqueness as they each contribute to the tapestry of our shared humanity. And whereas each of us can and should promote inclusiveness, celebrate diversity, support fellow community members, prevent the spread of misinformation, and reject hate and bias in all forms. And whereas the City of North Glen supports policies, practices, and programs that honor and support the LGBTQ+ community, and we believe the unique contributions, perspectives, and experiences of LGBTQ+ individuals enrich and strengthen the broader community. Now, therefore, I, Meredith Leidy, Mayor of the City of North Glen, Colorado, do hereby proclaim June 2025 as Pride Month in the City of North Glen, and encourage all residents to recognize and honor the contributions of LGBTQ+ individuals, to stand against discrimination and prejudice, and to foster a community rooted in mutual respect, acceptance, and love. Dated at North Glen, Colorado, this 9th day of June, 2025. So thank you both for being here. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Great.
All right, on behalf of the DICE board, the LGBTQIA+ community members and allies, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks to our mayor, city council, city staff, and everyone who helped make this year's Pride celebration and proclamation a reality. Your progressive leadership in recognizing and uplifting the LGBTQIA+ community sends a powerful message. North Glen stands for equity, inclusion, and dignity for all. This proclamation is more than symbolic. It's a clear declaration of values at a time when LGBTQIA+ communities across the country are facing efforts to silence, erase, or marginalize them. North Glen has chosen a different path. North Glen chose to see us, North Glen chooses to stand with us, and North Glen chooses pride. This past Saturday, our city welcomed LGBTQIA+ individuals and allies to come together, and it was a joyful but powerful celebration. We saw an incredible turnout for our Pride celebration, our biggest and most vibrant yet. Residents, visitors, and performers shared an overwhelming positive feedback. The Imperial Court of the Rocky Mountain Empire lit up the stage with energy, talent, and heart. The Gay Pride of all Colorado helped us turn the event into a true celebration and express their sincere gratitude for being chosen to celebrate with us. There was joy, there was community, there was pride. And there are people already looking forward to next year. That kind of response doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of the leadership and support expressed through actions like this event and the proclamation. But Pride is more than a celebration. It is a statement. And this proclamation affirms that North Glen will not be passive in the face of hate or injustice. In our city, diverse people are welcome, not just accepted, but truly embraced. We've all seen the headlines: transgender service members turned away after graduating from our nation's military academies, inclusive programs canceled under pressure, hate crimes that hit close to home like our recent attack on the Jewish community in Boulder. These are not isolated incidents, they're part of a broader troubling trend. That is why your support today means so much. This proclamation is not just a gesture, it's a call to action, a commitment to this community that we want North Glen to be one where every voice is heard, every identity is valued, and every person belongs. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for standing with us, thank you for speaking up, and thank you for making North Glen a city that we are proud to call home. Let's continue this work together with courage, compassion, and with pride.
That was lovely. Okay.
Okay, smile, don't bleed. Say pride. Pride. One of those should work, thank you.
Oh, don't go anywhere. You're on this list too, which is great. Okay, our second proclamation, I'm going to give you some information first, and then I'm going to read the proclamation. So we will have a Juneteenth celebration on Thursday, June 19th at 5 p.m. on Festival Lawn. The summer concert series will feature Joe Folk and Same Cloth. Sounds great. An eclectic blend of jazz, soul, and gospel. Additional performances by the Adams County Poet Laureate Carrie Joy, Miss Black Colorado Osha Renee, and final Dream Flow collaborative music creation. And that's actually pretty cool, so I recommend you come to that. The event will also feature wellness demonstrations, a vendor marketplace, food trucks. We've got J&O Lemonade Squad, Ricky's Island Cafe, Sweet Sips, and Gator Tails Cajun and Creole. The event is co-hosted by the Dice Board and was created in partnership with DCI Tours. So join us if you can. Whereas Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day, commemorates June 19th, 1865, when Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of the Civil War and the emancipation of enslaved African Americans more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. And whereas Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States and stands as a powerful reminder of the injustices of the past and the ongoing work toward equity, justice, and freedom for all. And whereas on June 17th, 2021, Juneteenth was officially recognized as a federal holiday, affirming its significance in American history and the ongoing pursuit of racial justice and reconciliation. And whereas the City of North Glen honors the strength, resilience, and enduring contributions of Black Americans to the culture, economic, and civic life of our community and nation. And whereas the City of North Glen is committed to fostering a welcoming, inclusive, and equitable community and encourages reflection, education, and action to advance understanding and unity among all people. And whereas celebrating Juneteenth provides an opportunity for all residents to acknowledge our shared history, recognize the history, achievements, and culture of the Black community, and recommit to building a more just and equitable future. Now, therefore, I, Meredith Leidy, Mayor of the City of North Glen, Colorado, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth in the City of North Glen. I encourage all residents to carry Juneteenth forward as a tradition, to not only celebrate the end of slavery in America, but to also recommit ourselves as a daily endeavor to our nation's founding ideals of freedom, equality, and justice for all people. Dated at North Glen, Colorado, this 9th day of June, 2025. Any Dice Board members want to add? No?
We just want to thank everybody for the support with Juneteenth. Last year, we got a lot of feedback about what type of event as a city you guys wanted to see it to be. And we took that to heart. We took it back to the table. Celeste has put a ton of work into this, Dr. Goff. We also have Larry as well. And they got, and also, Wesley as well. But we have taken a lot of work to this, got with the city, and we made this an intentional event. This is not just a concert with Juneteenth slapped on it. This is an actual event that we made for the city, for the people, and we're hoping for a good turnout. So please come out and support us, check it out, and we're hoping to make this a tradition that comes back year after year.
Everybody ready? Everybody else is at an angle except for you. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Both of you guys. There, perfect. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep smiling. Juneteenth might make a weird face, so just say cheese. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So we're going to move into presentations. We have 3 youth commissioners to honor tonight with dedicated service awards. They've come to the end of their term with us. So I'd like to welcome up Mira first. Come on up. We're going to hold that, and I'm going to say nice things about you. Ready? All right. Oh, I need my glasses. Mira has been on the Youth Commission for 6 years, starting when she was in 6th grade. She has served as secretary and vice president and is currently the president of the commission. During her time on the commission, she participated in the community and commission events such as the Farmers Highline Canal Cleanup, Flower Bed Planting, State of the City, Noen North Glen, and Flick and Float. Mira's favorite youth commission project was teaching youth about the importance of healthy eating to children in the recreation center's preschool classroom. She also really enjoyed being able to represent the city in Washington, D.C., and is extremely grateful to have had the opportunity to meet so many amazing people on these trips. Mira appreciates all of her support she has received from the North Glen City Council during her time as a commissioner. She graduated from Legacy High School and will be attending CU Boulder in the fall to study engineering. Well, congratulations. Okay, she's just so glad to be here. So thank you. We're going to take a picture right in the middle.
Wait, I thought you were going to say something, so I wasn't ready. Specific out, but don't wait. All right, thank you.
I'm going to say it right. Suyash, come on up. You're next. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There you go. All right. Yeah. Let's say nice things about you. You ready? All right, Suyash has been serving on the North Glen Youth Commission Board for 3 years and is completing his term as the board's Public Relations and Communications Manager. Suyash has strived to put the voices of youth and teens in the community at the forefront of the Commission's projects around public health by leading the committees for the Youth Addiction Awareness Poster Contest, naloxone training, I know what that is, but I don't know how to say it. And Flick and Float. Suyash has also represented the Youth Commission at State of the City, Noel Northglenn, and is a youth delegate for the NLC conference in Washington, D.C. Suyash originally joined the commission to create insightful projects that would benefit youth and teens in the community, a goal that he has gone above and beyond to achieve. He graduated from Stargate Charter School and will be attending CU Denver in the fall. Congratulations. And he's very brilliant and articulate and such an amazing representative of our city. So thank you so much. Do you want to say anything? Yeah.
I'm just extremely grateful for the opportunity that I got through the Northglenn Youth Commission, and I think all the support that I've gotten through Northglenn City Council has been really impeccable, and it's really been able to help me explore all my interests within public service, and I think that's been really powerful. And so I think all my help from also both Cassie and Amanda throughout all my years here has been really helpful, and it's really helped me understand where I want to head off in the future. And so thank you so much, and I really enjoyed my time on the Northglenn Youth Commission.
Yay.
All right. Smile. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, last but not least, Nosley, come on up. Oh, goodness. Okay, Nosley has been an active member of the Northglenn Youth Commission for nearly 6 years, gaining invaluable leadership experience alongside a dedicated and inspiring group of young leaders. Through her work with the commission, she's developed a deep appreciation for local policymaking and witnessed firsthand how small-scale community projects can create a lasting impact. This involvement has also played a crucial role in shaping her career aspirations. One of Nosley's favorite projects was the Commission's recent Food Insecurity Awareness Initiative, where members visited the Northglenn Recreation Preschool to teach students about healthy eating habits and local food security resources in an engaging, age-appropriate way. She values the Commission's ability to provide meaningful opportunities for teens to contribute to their community, and she's grateful for the knowledge, skills, and experiences she has gained through her participation. Nosley would like to thank all of the incredible City of Northglenn staff and council members who have supported her role in the Youth Commission over the years. Nosley graduated from Legacy High School and will be attending Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio in the fall. Woo, congratulations, that's far away. We're gonna miss you. So congratulations to Nosley.
All right, ready? Smile. Don't blink. There we go. One of those should work. Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, and it was mentioned briefly, I'm not quite sure if staff is here. Amanda and Cassie, I see Amanda, yes. Ah, right, sorry. They support our youth commission. They do such a good job of working with our teens and teaching them so much, and you can tell they appreciated it too. So thank you for developing them and doing such a good job. Okay, we have another celebration. I would like to invite the North Glen Thornton Rotary Club to come on forward for the presentation of funding for trees at Rotary Park and for emergency assistance funds for seniors. I don't think I have anything else to say. Who said it? Is this you? Tell us all about it.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council, it's my pleasure. My name is John Pick. I'm a member of the North Glen Thornton Rotary Club. And it's my pleasure tonight to make a presentation to you. The International Rotary is a service organization, and our motto is service above self. The North Glen Thornton Rotary Club has been in existence for more than 50 years. And and during that time, we've supported a lot of projects and programs throughout the community. For example, we provide support to 2 local food banks, along with 2 food banks in Thornton. We provide support through scholarships at both the college level as well as the junior college level and trade schools. We provide Christmas gifts and have been doing this for years, Christmas gifts for kids who are involved in the foster program. And we've provided support for a number of other organizations and projects. Tonight, we are going to be presenting you with this check. We are presenting the City of North Glen with $2,000 for the city's senior emergency grant program and $1,050 for 3 trees which are to be planted in Rotary Park tomorrow. So you're just in time. These gifts reflect our commission to help our community grow stronger, greener, and more connected. So thank you very much. And here's this.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, whoever has the check, go in the middle. Yeah, can we split you 2 so that there's 2 and 2? Yeah, there you go. Put it out. What are we doing? Oh, all right.
I did forget, to invite up 2 members of the Northlands Community Foundation who are going to be with us tonight.
Who's here? Oh, we're gonna have a whole party up here. All right, how are we gonna do this? What do you think? I think we're gonna have to do 2 rows. So if we can have. Oh my gosh, look at you. All right. Megan, you're like, actually, you go that way. That's better. She was on this right shirt, just half a step behind there. Half it. Yeah, there you go, right there, perfect. You're good. There we go, now we got everybody. Yep. All right, is everybody ready? Yeah. Say cheese, don't blink, that's the hard part. Yeah. Thank you, Rotary. So, on to make sure it's focused. Okay, I think we're good. Thank you. Does anybody need help? Oh, look who's in here.
Well, that was fun. I always love celebrations. So we are going to move to council communications, starting with Councilmember Burns.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you to everyone who came and spoke tonight. Thank you to everyone who came out for our pictures and our proclamations. It was great. Thank you to staff for a great Pride and a great community safety event. So I attended both of those things. I'll roll right into that. So Pride was awesome. My kids really enjoyed the ice cream. Shout out to Chief and PD for the community event. It was super awesome. We even went over time. It was just like great chat. And that is all I have to report. Thank you to everyone. Those are the things I went to.
Thank you. Councilmember Walker?
Thank you, Mayor. No updates tonight.
Councilmember Nowicki?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Real quick, I just want to say thank you to all the folks that attended Pride this weekend. Thank you to the city staff, the police. It was a really well-attended event, and I think had some good vibes. So thank you, everyone who was present. That is all for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Goff?
Thank you, Mayor. So on May 27th, the DICE board had their monthly meeting, and during that meeting voted to repeal the old bylaws that were kind of confusing and maybe potentially in conflict with the city ordinance. And we're just going to use the city ordinance that was written when DICE was created as our bylaws. So that'll simplify things going forward. We had Justin Perdue from a staff member from the recreation, who is a recreation manager, came and spoke to us about the Hidden Disability Sunflower Project, which is something that the DICE board would like to support. And let's see, we did more work on the Juneteenth event, which I'm so grateful that you talked about, because I was going to give a little pitch for that. That's probably, we're working on our plan for next year. That's probably about it for that. June 4th, I met with our sustainability coordinator, Mara Owen, to prepare for the Colorado Communities for Climate Action annual meeting, which will be Wednesday through Friday, and I'll be up in the mountains for that meeting, talking about what we're going to be able to do in the future with uncertainty, let's say, about policies and grants and that kind of thing. And then also on June 7th was the Pride Festival, which was wonderful. We don't have exact numbers, but it does appear that more people attended this year than last year, which was very heartwarming, along with the proclamation. For me personally, I know I have children that are members of the LGBTQA+ community. So events like this are very important, because I personally can see like the fear and uncertainty that they experience in certain places because of not knowing if they're going to be accepted. And so I feel very proud of North Glen that we work so hard to make sure that everyone feels accepted in our community. And I also wanted to thank all the staff, and especially those that volunteered to come out to help make Pride so successful this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kondo?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last week, Adams Five Star Foundation had their annual charity event that was attended by the mayor, Councilmember Jaramillo, and myself. And I'm a duffer at golf, and I want to just publicly thank the mayor for helping me with my score. As I think if any of you are familiar with Topgolf, you have to kind of select who's hitting, and the mayor definitely gave me a hand. So thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Mayor. I also attended the Flat Rock graduation ceremony. There's actually another graduation ceremony for Northglenn Police recruits, and at that graduation, there were 4 new members of the police force that will now start their FTO training process here very shortly. But it was always nice to go and see quite a few people that graduate. What was notable about that is that you have police departments from as far as Lincoln County or Moffett County or RTD or University of Colorado Boulder sending their recruits there to get trained. And it's largely, I think, run out of the Adams County facilities. And I know the staffers are probably a consortium of peace officers from all over the metro area. Very impressive to see so many people graduating and getting great training. On Saturday, I also suck at fishing, but Adams County Sheriff had their fishing derby, and I'm sorry to say that I got skunked. But it was a good event, and definitely we'll try and do better next year. Lastly, along with Councilmember Burns, Mayor Pro Tem, we all attended the Police Department Public Safety meeting, and I really do appreciate the Police Department staff, not only just Chief May, Deputy Chief, but several other commanders briefing and just answering questions from the public. Very much appreciate that. And then lastly, I would like to ask the staff, based off of the comments from Mr. Klein, I would like to see if there is interest on the days to perhaps re-examine the definition of keep. I don't know if there is an issue there. Corey, it looks like your mic is on.
It is entirely up to council. The question is whether you want the community cats will, if they customarily go for food and care to a person's home, then they would fall under the current definition. If you want to change that to exclude community cats, you certainly could do so, and it would take an ordinance amendment.
Okay. So I would like to ask if there is interest on the days for staff to look into that.
I think so. I had also asked City Manager Guyer, do you want to comment at all? Because I had also asked you for staff to look at that and provide, do you have any clarification or direction for us?
Unfortunately, Mayor, I don't at this particular moment in time. That is on my list to do some work on tomorrow. Certainly, I could have Deputy Chief speak to council tonight and provide some clarification. At this point in time, Chief May has not recommended moving in that direction in terms of the advisement he's given to me. But as City Attorney Hoffman just mentioned, it's strictly up to council. So if council would like staff to bring back information on what a possible amendment to the ordinance would look like, we are more than happy to do that with the pros and cons and what enforcement would look like.
Can I ask a clarifying question? So is it true then that, because we have a community cats ordinance, and then now we have the pet ordinance, did the pet ordinance truly just wipe the other one out?
No. Corey, do you want to explain the...
It didn't wipe it out at all. The question is, how frequently do community cats go to a given residence for food and care? And if they go to the same residence for food and care customarily, then they would be counted. And so it doesn't change the definition at all. They can be reconciled together. If council wants to exclude community cats with the idea that although they are living in the wild, even if they come back to the same place for food and care, that they would be excluded from cats, then we could, from the definition, we can make that ordinance amendment. It really depends if council thinks that's an impact on the community, if multiple cats come to the same residence for care and food, but don't live inside.
Can we get more data? Because I don't know that I'm interested in reopening the conversation without more data. Like, how many residents do we have that support the community cats? How many? It is not my experience. They are not in my neighborhood, so I don't know what
Sure.
this looks like. I know they are in the city, but if we have one person supporting community cats, I don't know that I would be in favor of changing anything. So we just need more information, I guess.
Well, Madam Mayor, the only thing that crossed my mind is obviously other cities have similar pet ordinance limit that we just passed.
Right.
And if I understand correctly, I think Mr. Klein was also trying to get other municipalities to do the TNR, SNR. So the question in my head really is there an issue also with other cities having, are they having the same sort of conundrum that we're potentially looking at here or not? And so that's what I would like to pull the thread on.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a conundrum. It is something council can modify it if it determines appropriate. It's really in part impact on neighbors,
Yeah.
which is why they can be reconciled. But if council wants to exclude community cats from the number, even if they're coming to the same house regularly for care and food, you certainly can do so. It's a simple ordinance amendment. I am not aware, although I've not asked the question, I think I would have heard about it, but I'm not aware of a single prosecution to date of someone that has been serving community cats and being prosecuted for a violation of the pet ordinance. And I can certainly confirm that. But this, I believe, is at this point, an academic discussion as opposed to an enforcement one. And really, it is the policy discussion for the council about whether a cat living inside versus living outside but still coming to the same residence for care and food should fall under the definition.
So I guess my question, I want a clarification on the language, which I think we have. The fact that Mr. Klein has reached out repeatedly and come to the podium twice, he's very concerned about this, as he was before we passed the community cats ordinance at the start. I just would love some information, I guess, but maybe it's from Mr. Klein, because if there's not, if it's not an issue in reality, I don't see a reason to reopen it. But maybe we have to reopen the conversation to find out if it is an issue. I don't know. What does council think? Yeah.
I would say, as my understanding is that the problem that he's concerned about is if somebody like himself, not necessarily him, but has pets that they keep inside the house and are taking care of these community cats, they could easily go over the 4-pet limit, and he is concerned that they would either be fined, and then like want to not do that anymore, or they would maybe stop taking care of these feral cats because they would be afraid of being fined. As I have told him, I am not aware of anybody having this problem, as we've heard from our attorney. I don't really, in my discussions with him, I was kind of trying to encourage him to maybe just wait and see what happens, because we can always change it in the future if it turns out to be some kind of a problem. But he does seem to be very concerned that, I don't know, that some cats might be then taken to a shelter and they end up being euthanized or whatever, that somebody would be fined and couldn't afford to pay the fine. Those are, as my understanding, those are his concerns.
Anyone else want to weigh in?
I just think we need more information.
But where do we get the more information? So is it, there isn't information. I think that's the concern.
I would say.
Turn your mic on.
I mean, how, I would want to know if there's information around how often is this kind of utilized, because again, this does seem to kind of run contrary to our TNR, is that what it's called? It does seem to kind of impede on that, so if, you know, so I do think we need to kind of clarify that.
So we could move forward with another discussion item, but we would need to ask, I guess, Mr. Klein to give us some data.
I did receive an email from Mr. Klein this morning, well, I think late yesterday, so I did not have time to respond today. I did respond to him and let him know that I would respond to him by midweek. I can talk with Chief May and our animal control officer. Mr. Klein has been in communication with our animal control officer, Cheyenne, and in his communication, I can observe that he's not happy with the explanation. As you all know, that City Attorney Hoffman shared with you tonight. I do know from past conversations with Mr. Klein that when we were working on the TNR ordinance, that he expressed that he could, at any given time, have upwards of 10 plus community cats that he cared for. Don't quote me as that's an exact number today, because that was a previous conversation from probably well over a year ago. So that would be information I could ask him for, but I think that really gets to the heart of the issue, given his perspective that community cats will live on his property. So based on the way the ordinance is written today, technically in violation.
So it might be a personal question he has. If we bring this back, can you also get data per Councilmember Condo's concern about other cities? And who else has the TNR ordinance?
Yes, I believe we were one of the first cities to adopt that, so I don't know that data exists, but we will do the exercise to see if there's others that have adopted an ordinance.
And if council can, like, just for context, I can read an excerpt from the enforcement guidance we gave that I know was forwarded on to Mr. Klein, which is as follows. A community cat that returns to a person's residential dwelling unit every night to receive food and a place to sleep counts towards the person's pet limit. Conversely, a community cat that returns to a person's residential dwelling unit only to eat, or that receives food and care only on an occasional basis, does not count towards that person's pet limit. And so that's where the interpretation goes, because, but that's the analysis that code enforcement and animal control would use. And again, it's going to be impacted in part by the neighbors and the impact, because as you talked about when you adopted the ordinance, if community cats do negatively impact their neighbors, you're going to get complaints. And so this attempts to kind of navigate where a cat is coming occasionally, not counting, versus regularly to one residence for care and food.
So is there a need to clarify that for our team? Because that is very, very vague. How do you tell which cat is coming back every day and which cat is coming back just Tuesdays and Thursdays? And like that seems to put our code enforcement in a tough position.
Animal control did not have concerns with that from an enforcement mechanism. Okay. And I think part of it is that they're not out hunting, probably a bad term, looking specifically for violators.
Yeah, it's real.
But this is a tool in the event that there is a negative impact based on the number of cats at a particular residence.
Okay. Councilmember Kondo, where did that leave you?
I think what City Manager Geyer has suggested, maybe circling back with Mr. Klein. In fact, the dialogue that I was having with Councilmember Goff over the weekend was, there seems to be a lot of nuance here. There doesn't seem And I know he's communicated with all of us by email and very lengthy text. I'm not complaining about that. But it seems like a face-to-face meeting with city staff probably would be useful. That way, they can really run the full gamut of understanding and hopefully coming to some sort of agreement. That's what I would like to see. And I'm not sure if I need to ask the days for permission for that, but certainly I think this was a very useful conversation, and hopefully what I can do is get back to Mr. Klein and say, we talked about it. Please have a face-to-face meeting with our city manager or appropriate people on the staff, if that will work.
That works for me.
We're happy to do that.
Okay, I will close with him. Thank you.
Great, thank you for doing that. Councilmember Roper?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight. The proclamations were wonderful, and I'm glad that as a city we're able to do that to recognize in our city. And I attended Pride over the weekend. That was a wonderful event. Thank you to staff for moving so quickly to bring it back, and to all the entertainers. And it was really amazing to see all the families that were there celebrating and just enjoying time together. The ice cream was delicious. And thank you to our Northglenn Police Department for being present, just to allow that sense of safety so everyone could enjoy the event. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just going to skip some things so that we can move on as quickly as possible. I did a business walk with the BRE and took a tour of IECRM, Independent Electrical Contractors, Rocky Mountain. Really amazing facility, and they do a lot of good in the community by educating kids and people who just want to get back into, into the workforce. I also attended, as was mentioned before, the public safety meeting and the Pride event, so I echo all the sentiments. Thank you to staff, thank you to everybody that put together such great events, thank you to PD. Very informational, and it's good to hear that we are fully staffed. And then I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. I have a few things, so buckle up. So I attended the Metro Mayor's Caucus, full caucus meeting on June 4th, and I have a couple of updates I would like to share with you. So the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce is doing their State of Cities event on July 16th. I will be speaking on a panel. There was a presentation from CDOT, and they talked about advancing transportation safety using a safe system approach. They had a lot of information. One of the things they're working on is 2025 state highway safety. These are their, what they call, he kept mentioning WIGs. I was like, what is a WIG? Apparently a WIG, I did not know this, is a wildly important goal. I was like, that's great. I'm gonna start setting WIGs in my life. So it was a great presentation, happy to have them. Also, RTD came, and there was a ton of great information. The new police chief and safety update came from the general manager, Deborah Johnson. And so I wanted to share a couple of the statistics from the RTD police. So they are now up to 24/7 operation, which is nice. They have 100 officers on the system, and they will have 150 in 2025. They do have co-responders as part of their team. They are focused on high visibility, which is leading to a decrease in calls for service. They reported from February 2024 to February 2025 an 82% decrease in observable drug use, and it was all based on high visibility of having the police on the trains and on the buses. They had a ton of security-related metrics that they shared. And they also apparently have the coolest cameras that have more quality, high quality than anybody else. So they were very proud of those. That was a great presentation. Also, I just wanted to update the check that we just received mentioned a senior grant. And I had more information to share. So if you go to the northglenn.org /seniors, and you're looking at their page, if you scroll down, it says Financial Assistance Program, and that is new. And so I just wanted to make sure everyone knew how to get that, since we have a new grant for that. Okay. There is an additional resolution on our agenda for tonight, and I'm going to read through that and hopefully open that up to discussion. But today, I attended the, it's called CAM, Combat Anti-Semitism Movement. It was an emergency summit in Boulder. So it was scheduled today as a mayor's roundtable. So you may have recalled in December, I went to the mayor's summit against anti-Semitism in California, learned a ton. That's coming back up in December. I will likely attend again. But the mayor's roundtable today was shifted to a full day, 10 to 4. A lot of sessions, a lot of speakers, a lot of personal stories. It was a really great day. Commander Rice joined us. City Manager Heather Geyer was with me. There were at least, I think, 13 mayors from the Metro mayors, and almost all, I think all but one, Adams County mayors were present today. And it was just another very powerful experience. I sent council an email because I'm, trying to be sustainable. But I sent you an electronic version of this. It's the Municipal Anti-Semitism Action Index. We don't have to do everything in here. It's a resource. I wanted you to see it. I have a hard copy that I will leave in our little office area if you'd like to peruse it. It just has recommendations for legislation and policy, education and awareness, community engagement, law enforcement, and judicial action. And it's just a ton of information. The other thing they shared, I will also leave in the room. I don't know what we call the room, our little council office room, it's a packet, anti-Semitic symbols since October 7th. It has a ton of information for ways to recognize things that are being said in the community, things that are being possibly graffitied in our community. And so it's a lot of really good information. The resolution today is in support of Boulder and condemning the attack on last Sunday. So we'll talk about that when we get there, but I just wanted you to know that I have these resources that I will put out on the table, and you can look at them. If you have any questions, please ask. I'm very interested in opening this dialogue with council, so that is all I have today. City Clerk Small, do you have any updates?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do have one quick update. I would like to report on the recent service project that the City Clerk's office conducted in May. We partnered with our Passport program to collect donations for Odin's Outpost at North Glen High School. And I wanted to report that we received nearly $1,900 in food, hygiene, and household cleaning products, as well as monetary donations this time. And staff was able to deliver those donations to the school last Wednesday. Staff at the school was thrilled to receive everything, and I wanted to just publicly thank the Passport customers, staff, residents who came in just from reading it in the connection, and specifically the North Glen Community Foundation for their very generous donations. We're always very grateful for everything that we receive during these drives, and just so super thankful that we were able to get those donations reinvested back into our community with students on behalf of the community. So thank you.
Thank you. City Manager Geyer.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have a few things that I want to highlight for the public's benefit event-wise. These were included in the weekly email from me today, but want to draw attention to the next Coffee with the Chiefs, Chief May, and future incoming Fire Chief Mark Doherty is going to be held this Friday, June 13th from 9:30 to 10:30 at Gunther Tootie's in North Glen Marketplace. And Chief May shared at the Saturday public safety event that there's really big cinnamon rolls and endless coffee, if that's an attraction for you. The other exciting thing is this Saturday, June 14th from 10 to 3 p.m. at the Marketplace, there will be an artisan fair. So that it'll be in the parking lot across across from PetSmart. And this is a part of a series of events throughout the summer that the marketplace owned by HCP is initiating to really increase their community engagement throughout the summer. Also, two last things. Let me just scroll up here. This Thursday, our summer concert on Festival Lawn will feature a funk rock band, Maybe Fern, at 7 p.m. The rain did scare some folks away last Thursday, so we didn't have a real turnout for our first concert on Festival Lawn. So please encourage residents to come out for that event. And then just one last thing I want to draw council's attention to is that there's 4 tickets remaining for the AC Rep event. So if you'll read that email and then respond to Allison or McCall ASAP if you want to attend that event. Thank you.
City Attorney Hoffman.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor, members of council. I just wanted to alert you that in your inbox, you do have a memorandum from my office on 2 pending pieces of litigation, one involving North Glen related to the PUC and Public Service Company streetlights, and the other related to the litigation commenced by a number of home rule municipalities against the state. So you have that in your inbox, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that.
Great, thank you. Okay. Up next is the financial report, April 2025 update and potential state budgetary impacts. Deputy City Manager Jason Loveland will present to council. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We'll start off with looking at April. So we're through the first quarter of sales and use tax collections. So really the collections through March. Unfortunately, sales and use tax is down 1.4%. So all in all, that's not a great thing, but it's not a terrible thing. Within that number, a couple of highlights. Auto use tax is down about 2.2%. Sales tax itself down 1.8%. Food tax, it's kind of rallied, is up 7%. And then I haven't said this for 40 months, but marijuana tax was actually up 0.1%. So I did have to go back and look, but it has been since late December since we've been able to say that the marijuana tax has been up. So I don't know that we're going to call that a trend at this point, but we'll keep a close eye on it. But I was excited to see that I wasn't reporting a negative this month. So going to the next page in the general fund, you'll see total taxes. As I just kind of mentioned, those are down about 1.3%. Total revenue in the general fund is at $10.2 million, down about 3% over the prior year. A couple of key areas here. Intergovernmental revenue is down about 12%. That's the reimbursement for crew services from the ARPA grant in the prior year. Licenses and permits, that's down about 40%. The majority of that is right-of-way permits and park use. There's some licensing, just timing. They haven't gone away, but just the timing of when licenses have renewed. So we'll keep an eye on that. But overall, decent shape through April on the general fund revenues. On the next page, we talk about expenditures, and this is by department. Overall, just a macro look at personnel, which is driving a lot of the increases that you'll see by department, is up about 7.5% through April. So we'll continue to monitor that. Key areas here, the city manager department shows a fairly large increase. Again, that's personnel related and crew vehicle purchase. It's driving that difference. Planning and development, vehicles that were purchased by ARPA, they're up 20%, but those are vehicles, as I mentioned, somewhat one-time purchases. Police department, also up about 20%. Also, that's driven by vehicle purchases that we made through the one-time grant funding. So total general fund expenditures are about 33% spent when compared to the budget. and up about 10% year over year. So at $13.3 million, we're still in alignment, but we're seeing some accelerated personnel expenditures, and largely comparing year to year, excuse me, we're fully staffed in many areas, and so we would expect to see that on the personnel side. Moving ahead to the water funds, consumption through April is up 2%, so slight uptick, nothing major. We'll see what this past week does. When I report on this next month, there might be a decrease coming. Total revenue in the fund, just under $3.3 million, and expenditures of $3.1 million. In the wastewater fund on page 5, you'll see revenues of $1.8 million, expenditures of just over $900,000. An increase in that fund on the operating expenditures are related to personnel. One line item, the miscellaneous revenue line item, that relates to discharge violations. So $25,000 collected in 2025 versus $1,000 at this time in the prior year. So that's one line that kind of sticks out versus the rest of the revenues in that fund. Those are typically business illegal discharges, and they're getting fined and violations for those. Next, on page 6, in the stormwater fund, just under $140,000 in revenue, $325,000 of expenditures. We've talked about this month after month. The system-wide analysis on the stormwater system makes up that $278,000. So that report should be coming soon in the next 30 to 60 days for council's review. Next, the sanitation funds, total revenues of $583,000, expenditures of $780,000. You will notice it's a small number, but it's a noticeable number from a percentage standpoint. The commodity prices on recycling revenue were down quite a bit, about 40% as compared to last year. The amount of materials being sent are equivalent. It's just the state of the need and desire for our plastics to be recycled. Moving ahead to page 8, this is a summary of our cash and investments through April. So at the end of April, they were stood at just over $76 million. Page 9, if you take a look at the marketplace sales tax, actually let's skip ahead to page 11. This is the tax collected by a geographic area to kind of get more of a perspective of what's going on within the city boundaries. The top line there speaks to out of state. Really, that's referring to kind of our online sales, and you can see that's up about 13.5% through that first quarter of the year. If we back that out, it's not represented here, but with the brick and mortar locations within the boundary of the city are down about 6%. You can, that's just informational, really. If you have any questions on any of the report, I am happy to answer those. The next thing that I want to jump to, actually, before I do that, were there any questions on the financials? And then I'll jump into kind of the update on the state budget impacts.
Councilmember Kondo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just curious, going back to the cash and investments, page 8, clearly there's a lot of upheaval in the stock market, and I'm wondering if, and maybe it's not reflected here in April, but will we see some sort of blip, if you will, in our investments going down and then coming back up?
We will not. Our investments are really triggered by interest, just general interest rates. And we have a pretty balanced portfolio as far as the timing of our investments. So somewhere between current 90-day paper to 5 years. So we shouldn't see any like market fluctuations unless it's fairly significant interest rate cut. And it would take some time for us to notice that.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
I think that's it.
So moving ahead, I put a couple of slides together. Ta-da. Our lobbyist team reported on some various legislative things that were going on at the Capitol a couple of weeks ago. And so in follow-up to that report, wanted to touch base on some things that the city may see or may not see, and just kind of the uncertainty behind some of those decisions that are happening. The first one I want to talk about briefly is the local government severance tax fund. So one thing that was determined at the state was to invest $115 million over the next decade to install a digital trunked radio system. I cannot pretend to be an expert on what that exactly means, other than communications throughout the state through radio system will be improved when they add another 109 radio sites. So what does that mean for local impact? If you reach out to DOLA, look on DOLA's website, they're uncertain. They're not exactly sure. They're the ones that administer the program, but they're administering the dollars that they end up receiving. So probably one of the biggest things will be the potential limitation of future grant opportunities with these funds. I think that the city's annual receipt of the severance tax fund, so this is minerals being taken from the earth throughout the state, and then the city's portion of that. So in 2024, that portion is $54,000 that went to the general fund. So every dollar matters. This is a relatively small dollar amount in our $40 million general fund budget, but it would have an impact. But for reference, in 2024, the direct distribution of severance funds taxes throughout the state of Colorado to different jurisdictions totaled $30 million. And then Dole also awarded $130 million of grants throughout the state for various projects. So from a large macro level kind of consideration, it could have future grant implications for them, diverting $115 million over a decade to a specific project. So it could be limiting in that way. From a city ongoing general fund perspective, receiving around $50,000 to $60,000 annually, an impact, but a lesser impact than others might feel. The next item was Senate Bill 25268, reduction of the state marijuana tax share. So quick little chart to show currently, these are estimates on the revenue, about $22 million of taxable sales occur within the city of North Glen on marijuana. The state collects 15%, has a 15% tax on that. And the state then returns 10% of their 15% that they collected back to the local jurisdiction. So for the city, that's roughly $330,000. So the change that they have made is changing that state share back to the city to 3.5%. So the state share was set to expire at the end of this year, and so this was extended at a lesser rate. So you can see that the impact would drop that if taxable revenues stayed the same, to $115,000. So a couple $100,000 impact that the general fund directly would see or will see, assuming that taxable sales stay flat. And then the last one, reduction to the highway user tax fund. There were several bills, all of which have some sort of reduction in penalty. for different violations. So all collectively, the concept is that there would be just less money collected by the state for use within the Highway User Tax Fund. So you can see the city received $1.1 million in 2024. That goes straight to the general fund, so it helps support, repairing potholes, doing snow removal, road striping, and things like that. So this may be the most uncertain item as far as the actual impact, as far as like getting a number. In August, we'll receive information that helps guide us on this, but we won't have that information for a couple months on the potential revenue impact. Hopefully it's somewhere between like 0 and 1% of an impact. But just wanted to share, it is a pretty significant number, 2.5% of that $40 million general fund budget. Nothing on the table indicates that is like going away completely, but there may be some impact to that, and it is a large number. So I've presented this, and I'm not sure that I have additional information to provide if you have detailed questions on this, but I certainly can try if you do.
Okay, Councilmember Kondo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I think if I recall, as we established the 2025 budget, that we needed to transfer about $500,000 to be able to support operations to maintain our 70-point PCI scale. So if I were to play the forward here and assume that maybe we're not going to get 1 million in 26, I'm just trying to couch myself mentally. Do we need to prepare perhaps that in 2026 we may have to transfer from the general fund to operations, maybe now 1.5 million? Is that something that, again, I'm just trying to look in the crystal ball and condition myself to figure out what exactly are we talking about in terms of maybe additional drawdown of fund balance?
So I'm not sure that we'll see an additional need to draw down on fund balance. So in 2026, the 0.5% sales tax that is currently restricted to enhance our water supply will no longer, that restriction is going to go away. So the general fund should see about $3.5 million of new funding coming into the general fund. So we do have a bit of a buffer on some of these legislative decisions that should help us out and still should allow us to, of course, we'll go through the whole budget process and have lots of discussion and things like that, but at this moment should allow us to continue the plan to transfer funding to the residential street program to maintain that PCI level that you're speaking of.
Okay, so just to parrot back what you just said, it sounds like the sales tax extension piece is really a saving grace and will give us some cushion.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see any other questions. Anyone
Okay.
else?
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, goodness, I haven't logged in. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I will close that vote, and the consent agenda passes unanimously.
Okay, our first resolution, CR 56. Will the clerk please read the title?
A resolution approving Addendum Number 1 to the trade contractor agreement between the City of North Glen and Global Underground Corporation for on-call emergency utility repair services.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Environmental Manager Tammy Moon is here to provide a summary. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Before you is Council Resolution 56. It's an increase to the on-call contract for Global Underground. It's the company that we utilize to help us do water, sewer, and storm line repairs. We started out the year with a $70,000 contract with this organization. We're asking to increase that by $80,000 so that we have a total contract amount of $150,000 for 2025. At this point in time, we've only had one water line break that we've utilized them for. That was on Irma at about 111th. It occurred in April, and so this additional $80,000 will allow us to have enough money in that contract to go through the rest of the year. And so I'm open for questions if you'd like.
Councilmember Kondo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know that your boss was out of town, so I appreciate Deputy Manager Loveland answering my question over the weekend, so thank you for that.
Sure.
And I understand that this is a new vendor.
Correct. This is our first year with them.
Okay, gotcha. And one other question, and that is, as we're starting to see the price of everything going up, I would assume direct labor costs is also another driver for some of the increases?
Sure, direct labor costs as well as costs for materials such as pipe fittings, that sort of thing.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see any other questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I will close that vote, and CR 56 passes unanimously.
CR 57, Community Co-Production Policing Advisory Board appointment. Kevin Flynn, I just read the title for you. Apologies. Will the clerk please read the title? I think I just read it. Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval.
Second.
Awesome. Well, I would love Kevin to come forward and introduce himself. I had the pleasure of being on the interview panel. Nice to see you live and in person. So just introduce yourself and maybe start with what encouraged you to apply.
Jim May.
Okay.
My name's Kevin Flynn. I'm a retired division chief from the city of Aurora. I did 35 years with Aurora. Known Chief May for a lot of years and done a lot of things. I've been a resident of Northglenn for over 50 years. I've helped Northglenn with several promotional processes over the years with some of their candidates, and been retired a couple years, got bored, and I think there's still a little left in the tank. And I said I've been very fortunate to have attended a lot of trainings. I'm an FBI NA national graduate. I certainly want to see, and I talked with the mayor, I think Northglenn may have one graduate, but I'd like to see that happen. It's a great leadership program, and I would like to see more involvement if I can with that. I've got several ideas that I would like to see. I talked about a police foundation. I think a foundation for the police department would be wonderful to help offset some of the things they do. I know we started one in Aurora. It's gone over very well. Chief is still in charge of that with oversight from the council, but it's really getting the community members and citizens involved with different aspects of what's going on in the city. So a little bit of history. One of the first things I can remember as a kid, my dad was very active in the JCs. As a kid, I helped build JC Ballpark on Irma Drive. So, that sticks in my mind. I can remember all the old Northglenn Mall and celebrations and parades and carnivals and you name it. So I just have an opportunity being retired. When I was working full-time with Aurora, it was really tough to get involved too much with Northglenn, but as my place of residence for over 50 years and I have some time, I think it's a great opportunity. I'd love to give something back.
Excellent. And you look very comfortable at the podium.
Oh, no. Well, this is bringing back a little deja vu for me, I got to tell you. I mean, Aurora had pit bulls, you guys had cats, so it's, I've gone through this.
So we may have some questions or comments from
certainly.
council. We'll start with Councilmember Kondo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for stepping forward. And it's interesting that you mentioned your Aurora experience, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I wonder if you could just kind of highlight for me what was impressionable about Northglenn Police Department's culture that strikes you as you're stepping into this position?
You said Northglen's?
Yeah, Northglenn's culture.
You know, that's a great question. You know, having been involved with some of the promotional process and known Chief May for a lot, I mean, I think Chief May's been a chief here 14 years. That's pretty unusual. I got to say, when you look at the, you know, I've often joked about chiefs are like head coaches of football teams. They're hired to be fired, and that seems to be oftentimes what goes on. But I think he's established a culture here in Northglenn that's, you know, you can just see from some of the resolutions, the inclusions and involvements. That goes a long way. You know, I say, you know, police department needs a couple things. Luck, you know, because there's always that next bad thing that can happen. But when that does happen, community capital. And I think Northglenn has built that community capital with their police department, because without that, there's not a lot to fall back on. I mean, there are times, and just going back from my Aurora experiences, that we had developed a lot of that, and then, you know, I'm not going to throw rocks, but we lost our culture. And, you know, I don't have to tell you what's going on in Aurora in the last few years, and I think it's on its way to changing. I mean, that was part of the reason that I chose to retire at that time, because I'd come up with the culture that I was really comfortable with, and, you know, we were beloved by the community, and, you know, we went through some tough spots. And I think it's being built back, but I think Northglenn, you know, not that something couldn't happen here, but that community capital is key, and I think Jim's done a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Burns.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say thank you so much for stepping up. You wowed in your interview at CCPP. I'm always virtual, but it's there. And,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here, and you're wowing again tonight. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say thank you for stepping up. Sounds like you have a wealth of experience and, you know, a Northglenn, long-time Northglenn resident.
Yes.
So I think that's really wonderful. And you said you were an FBI graduate. I know that's a really tough program to get into.
It is. It's really, you actually go away to Quantico, Virginia for what's the equivalent of a semester of leadership credit hours. So it's a credit through the University of Virginia, so you can either go and finish up your undergraduate degree for that semester, or if you've already got that, you can work on your graduate degree there. So it's really good. And then I guess the takeaway from that is then we then have our own chapter here. We have a Rocky Mountain chapter of graduates. We're a Colorado, Wyoming chapter, and I'm currently the first first past president this year. This will be my last year. So I'm about done with that group, and I think it'll afford me some time to spend with the city in this opportunity.
Yeah, that's an incredible accomplishment, because I know some people who've tried to get in. It's highly competitive as far as I understand. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
So, yeah. Congratulations on that. Then you mentioned starting a police foundation. Could you speak a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, you know, I think it can be set up to however we want to do it. I can speak from the Aurora experience of what we did. And what it did is we brought together a bunch of business leaders with the police department. And it was a joint effort. Fundraising was a big thing so that there was funds. I mean, one of the things that I can remember that one of the things they did is there was not enough money in the budget one year to buy ball caps. So the foundation stepped up and bought all the officers' ball caps. Now, it can go to anything. I mean, I can see it going to, I mean, I think it's one of the last meetings that the trick or treat was having issues with potential funding. I think that's a perfect opportunity for a foundation to step in, raise some money, and help a police department with something like that. So it's really left to the imagination as to what the group wants to do. But I think it can go a long way.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
it gets the businesses involved with your police department. I mean, it's that community capital.
Love that. Well, sounds great. Sounds like you have some great ideas and going to bring that fresh perspective to the board. So welcome.
Well, thank you.
Well, that is all the comments we have. I want to say thank you again. I'm very much looking forward to you serving on this board, and thank you for your time and your talent, and congratulations.
Well, thank you very much to the council and for the selection process, and introduce my wife, Kathy. She's really the one behind all this. It's 35 years of putting up with 30 years of long call and now this, so a lot goes to her as well.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next up, CR 58. Will the clerk please read the title?
Actually, Madam Mayor, I just opened the vote.
Oh, I'm
Yep.
sorry. We need
No
to
worries.
vote. I was just so happy for you, I forgot. Let's vote.
Okay, I will close that vote, and CR 57 passes unanimously.
Jeez, thank you for keeping me on my toes. All right, CR 58, will the clerk please read the title?
A resolution appointing deputy municipal judges of the City of North Glen, Colorado.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Municipal Judge Brian Bowen is here to provide a summary of this item. Come on up. Nice to see you, Judge.
Good evening. And it's my pleasure once again to be here. We've submitted to you 3 names. One of the things that became apparent when I took this position was the court had not been utilizing many fill-in judges. And that's fine, but we all drive cars and anything could happen at any time. And so part of my bringing these names forward is to ensure sustainability, continuity of court process, and that we have viable, reliable people who aren't going to cause problems, who know our court to step in when that needs to happen. And so you are likely to see more usage of fill-in judges from time to time. These 3 people I have worked with before. They are known to me. I wouldn't bring them to you if I didn't think they could do a fine job for us. They work in other municipal courts. They're familiar with this community, having been, each of them, magistrates in Adams County, 2 of them county court judges, one of them magistrate also in Denver, handling specialty courts. And I just ask that you recognize that and work with a sense of sustainability. Any questions?
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Great.
And I think we trust your judgment.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I will close that vote, and CR 58 passes unanimously.
CR 61, will the clerk please read the title?
A resolution condemning the June 1, 2025 anti-Semitic attack on participants of the Run for Their Lives walk in Boulder, Colorado, and denouncing anti-Semitism and hate in all its forms.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, so I mentioned this earlier in communications. This was added late. I would like to read the entire thing and then open it up for discussion. So you should have a copy if you want to open it and follow along. Resolution condemning the June 1st, 2025 anti-Semitic attack on participants of the Run for Their Lives walk in Boulder, Colorado, and denouncing anti-Semitism and hate in all its forms. Whereas on June 1st, 2025, participants in the Run for Their Lives walk in Boulder, Colorado, a peaceful demonstration calling for the release of hostages taken during the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attacks on Israel, were subjected to a vile and targeted anti-Semitic attack with incendiary devices resulting in 8 individuals injured, 2 with serious burns requiring airlift to a medical facility. And whereas such acts of violence and intimidation are reprehensible and create fear not only for Jewish individuals, but for all people who value human rights and peaceful expression. And whereas the City of North Glen has partnered with the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement, CAM, a global coalition committed to ending anti-Semitism in all its forms, to strengthen the city's understanding and response to anti-Semitic hate. And whereas the City of North Glen has previously taken action to denounce and remove hate speech messages including anti-Semitic messages distributed on private property and hateful graffiti found in public parks, and remains committed to swift responses that reinforce community values of respect and inclusion. And whereas the City of North Glen values the safety, dignity, and rights of all residents and visitors and stands united in its commitment to oppose hatred, violence, and discrimination. And whereas the North Glen City Council condemns anti-Semitism along with all forms of hate, including racism, Islamophobia, xenophobia, and other acts of prejudice that seek to divide and harm our communities. And whereas communities must lead by example by speaking out against hate, promoting education, compassion, and awareness, and fostering a unified environment where all people feel safe, valued, and heard. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of North Glen, Colorado that 1. The North Glen City Council unequivocally condemns the June 1st, 2025 anti-Semitic attack on participants of the Run for Their Lives walk in Boulder, Colorado, and expresses solidarity with the victims, their families, and the broader Jewish community. Section 2, the City Council denounces anti-Semitism and all forms of hate, including physical violence, harassment, vandalism, and the use of anti-Semitic rhetoric, and reaffirms its commitment to promoting equity, inclusion, and human dignity for all. Section 3, the City Council encourages partnerships with organizations such as the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement, synagogues, and regional organizations to strengthen our community and continue work to combat hate through action, education, and collaboration. Section 4, the City of North Glen commits to continuing its response to hateful messages and pledges to maintain public spaces free from hate, discrimination, and intimidation. Section 5, the City Council encourages all residents, elected officials, and community leaders to stand united against hate, report bias-based incidents, and participate in community-building efforts that advance understanding, justice, and safety for all. And Section 6, the City Council extends its unwavering support to the Boulder City Council and the entire Boulder community during this time and stands in solidarity with them in their pursuit of justice, healing, and peace. And that would be dated today. So I'm happy to open this up for discussion. I would love to hear from council if anyone has any thoughts or questions. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just like to say thank you for bringing this forward. I wholeheartedly agree with everything that's in there. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Goff?
Thank you. Yes, I also support this resolution. Hate is never a solution. Violence always creates more problems than it solves, and so I think this is a good statement to make. Thank you.
Councilmember Roper?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I agree. Thank you for bringing this forward. It's so important that this aligns with our values as a community and as a city, and also I know many of us ran on the platform of speaking up for those who don't have a voice, and this really allows us to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Burns?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for this thoughtful resolution. I think it encapsulates our values and, again, reiterates our solidarity with our fellow community members in Boulder and here. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? You don't have to say anything. I'm just waiting for hands. Okay. So one final thing from me is, again, as I mentioned during communications, being in Boulder today with the mayor of Boulder and other local mayors, listening to their stories, hearing about what the last week has been like for them, getting updates on just, you know, the members that were injured. It was a powerful day, and so I thank you for your support. Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I will close that vote, and CR 61 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, so we are going to recess. I will now recess the regular city council meeting and call to order a meeting of the Marijuana Licensing Authority. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Leidy.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lukman Haramasa. Here. Councilmember Burns. Here. Councilmember Jaramillo will be absent. Councilmember Kondo.
Here.
Councilmember Roper.
Here.
Councilmember Goff.
Here.
Councilmember Nowicki.
Here.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of May 12th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Please open the vote.
The vote is open. We'll close that vote and the minutes pass unanimously.
Thank you. So we have a hearing on annual renewal application for Fresh Organic LLC doing business as Fresh Cannabis. Our Senior Deputy City Clerk Andrews will provide a summary of this item.
As you'll recall, Fresh Organic LLC has a pending application for the annual renewal of the medical and retail marijuana licenses for Fresh Cannabis, formerly located at 11450 Cherokee Street, units A4 through A7. The application for renewal was not eligible for administrative approval due to the expiration of the property lease. On May 12th, City Council, acting as the city's local marijuana licensing authority, issued a notice of hearing on renewal and ordered it issued to the licensee. Since then, the licensee requested a continuance of the public hearing, and City Attorney Hoffman expressed no objection to continuing the public hearing to July 14th. So upon agreement of the city attorney and the licensee, the city clerk's office administratively approved the request for continuance. The public hearing, which was originally scheduled to take place this evening, will now be scheduled to take place in City Council chambers, on July 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update. I will now adjourn the meeting of the Marijuana Licensing Authority and reconvene the regular city council meeting. Moving into public invited to be heard, this is an opportunity for public comment. Statements are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to council at this time? Please state your name and address and provide your comments to council.
Hello, Madam Mayor, City Council. Joshua Savers, 11768 Sherman Street. Lots happened since the last City Council. We had Memorial Day, so I just wanted to note Memorial Day and read off a few names of people that are no longer on this earth, but they're not really gone unless you stop speaking their name. So, Gunnery Sergeant Monty Johns, Corporal Clay Newberry, Corporal Clint Middleton, Lance Corporal Mark Plotz, and PFC Joshua Whittle. So, another thing that happened was the food truck carnival. On a happier note, I would, on behalf of citizens and folks in North Glen, I know there's a construction that may or may not interrupt next year's happenings. I would try to push for it to happen somewhere else if that's what needs to happen. Also, congratulations on the Pride event. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I really appreciate that. I will entertain a motion that the City Council hold an executive session pursuant to Section 4.5D of the City of North Glen Home Rule Charter for legal consultation and advice regarding potential personnel rules addressing weapons in the workplace and the application of state and federal immigration law.
Motion to adjourn is so stated.
Second.
Please open the vote.
The vote is open. I will close that vote, and the motion to meet in executive session passes unanimously.
We will adjourn to executive session.